The weight of the box in my hands feels heavier than it should, not because of the $5,000 espresso machine inside, but because of what it means to me. I stand on the porch of Sierra's family home, the late afternoon sun casting long shadows across the manicured lawn. My wife's birthday party is in full swing inside. Laughter and clinking glasses spill out through the open windows. I adjust my grip, the glossy wrapping paper crinkling under my fingers. This isn't just a gift. It's a memory, a tether to the mornings when Sierra and I would sit on our tiny balcony, sipping coffee and talking about nothing and everything. Back when she looked at me like I was enough. I take a deep breath, push open the door, and step into the chaos. The living room is packed. Her friends, her family, all dressed like they're auditioning for a magazine spread. Sierra's in the center, her auburn hair catching the light as she laughs at something her sister, Bree, whispers. I catch her eye and hold up the box, offering a small smile. She raises an eyebrow but doesn't come over right away, finishing her conversation first. My stomach twists, but I brush it off. It's her day. Let her enjoy it. All right, everyone, gather round. Sierra's mother, Ellen, claps her hands, her voice cutting through the chatter. Time for presents. The crowd shifts, forming a loose circle around a table already piled with gifts, designer bags, spa vouchers, jewelry boxes. I weave through, setting my box down carefully, making sure the bow stays perfect. Sierra finally joins us, her perfume trailing as she brushes past me without a word. I stand near the back, hands in my pockets, watching as she tears into the first few gifts. A cashmere scarf from Ellen gets a squeal and a hug. A gold bracelet from Calvin, Bree's husband, earns a dramatic gasp and a pose for photos. My gift is next. I step forward slightly, heart thudding. She lifts the box, testing its weight, and shoots me a quick glance, more curious than excited. Heavy, she says, smirking, and a few people chuckle. I shrug, trying to play it cool, but I'm waiting for her to see it, to remember. The wrapping paper falls away, revealing the sleek black box with the brand name embossed in silver. A murmur ripples through the room. Someone recognizes it, knows it's not cheap. Sierra's lips part, but not in awe. Her brow furrows, and she tilts her head, like she's trying to figure out a puzzle. An espresso machine, she says, her voice flat, almost amused. Bree snorts, covering her mouth, and Calvin lets out a loud, "Oh, come on, man." The room erupts in laughter, sharp and sudden, like a flock of birds taking off. My face burns. I open my mouth to explain, about the mornings we used to love, about how she'd always wanted one like this, but Sierra's already talking. What am I supposed to do with this? Open a coffee shop? More laughs, louder now. Ellen shakes her head, muttering something about practicality. My chest tightens, and I force a smile, but it feels like a grimace. Thought you'd like it. I say quietly, but no one hears me over the noise. Sierra sets the box on the floor, not even on the table, like it's a bag of trash she'll deal with later. She moves on to the next gift, a pair of heels from a friend, and the room's attention follows her, leaving me standing there, invisible. I try to stay, to act like it doesn't sting. I grab a drink from the kitchen, make small talk with some guy I barely know about football, anything to keep my hands busy. But every time I glance at Sierra, she's glowing, surrounded by her people, and that box is still on the floor, untouched. Bree catches my eye at one point, smirking like she's won something. I don't know what I did to make her hate me, but she's never hidden it. Calvin's no better, his arms around Bree, and he's laughing too loud, probably at me. I can't shake the feeling that I'm the punchline to a joke I wasn't told. An hour later, I'm done. I mumble an excuse about work to Ellen, who barely listens, and slip out the front door. The air outside is cool, and I gulp it down, trying to loosen the knot in my throat. Driving home, the road blurs a little, not tears, just exhaustion. I keep replaying Sierra's face, that moment when she looked at the gift and saw nothing worth keeping. It's not just the money. It's the piece of us I thought we still had, tossed aside like it meant nothing. By the time I pull into our driveway, my hands are steady, but something inside me is shifting. I don't know what it is yet, but it's there, sharp and quiet, waiting for me to catch up. I unlock the door, step inside, and let the silence of the house swallow me whole. The house is too quiet when I get home, the kind of quiet that presses against your ears and makes every thought louder. I kick off my shoes and head straight for the couch, sinking into it like I can disappear if I sit still enough. Sierra's birthday party feels like a bad dream, but the sting of her words, a useless thing, keeps it real. My phone buzzes in my pocket, and I almost ignore it, figuring it's her mother checking if I got home safe or some work email I don't care about right now. But habit wins, and I pull it out. The screen lights up with a notification from Sierra's social media, a post tagged with her name. My thumb hovers, and I know I shouldn't look, but I do. There it is, a photo of the espresso machine, still in its box, shoved into a corner of her family's living room like forgotten luggage. The caption hits me like a punch. A useless thing from the most useless person in the world. She added a laughing emoji and a shrug, like it's all a big joke. I stare at the words, my pulse thudding in my temples. The comments are already piling up. Laughing faces, snarky one-liners, a few poor you messages from her friends. Bree's comment is at the top. OMG, what was he thinking? With a string of tears of joy emojis. Calvin chimed in too. Dude's got no game. I scroll further, and it's a feeding frenzy, strangers, coworkers, even people I thought liked me, all piling on. My chest feels like it's caving in, not just from the hurt, but from the sheer weight of it being so public. This isn't just her mocking me to her family. It's her telling the world I'm nothing. I set the phone face down on the coffee table, but the words are burned into my head. Useless. The most useless person in the world. I lean back, staring at the ceiling, trying to make sense of it. Sierra's always had a sharp tongue, especially when she's with her sister or her friends, but this feels different. It's not a private jab I can shrug off or a fight we'll laugh about later. It's a line crossed, a door slammed shut. I think about those coffee mornings we used to have, how she'd smile over her mug and tell me I made the best brew she'd ever tasted. Was that a lie? Or did something change, something I missed? My mind drifts to the early days, when we were broke and happy, sharing cheap diner coffee because it was all we could afford. I thought this gift would bring that back, reminder of who we were. Instead, it's like I handed her a mirror, and she hated what she saw. I get up and pace the living room, my socks scuffing against the hardwood. The house feels too big without her here. She's probably still at her parents', soaking up the attention. I stop by the kitchen, where a cheap coffee maker sits on the counter, the one we've used for years. It's scratched and stained, but it works. I almost laugh. Maybe I am useless, buying her something fancy when the old one was fine. But no, that's not it. It's not about the machine. It's about her deciding I don't matter anymore, and worse, telling everyone else the same. My eyes land on a photo on the fridge, us at her grandfather's cabin years ago, both of us grinning like kids. Walter Claiborne took that picture. He was a tough old guy, never one for warm fuzzies, but he liked me. I can still hear his gravelly voice over whiskey one night, after Sierra and I got engaged. "You're a good man," he'd said, pointing a gnarled finger at me. "Don't let her forget it. And if she does, well, you've got more power than you think." I didn't know what he meant back then, just nodded and sipped my drink. But now, standing in this empty kitchen, those words feel like a lifeline. I grab my phone again, ignoring the flood of new notifications. Instead, I open my email and search for Walter's name. My hands are steady now, the hurt hardening into something else, focus, maybe, or anger. I find an old message from him, sent a year before he passed, with a scanned document attached. It's the loan agreement for Sierra's boutique, the one he gave her $200,000 to start. I helped him draft it, made sure it was fair but tight, because Walter didn't believe in handouts, not even for family. The terms were clear, repayable on demand if she ever misused his trust. I read it twice, my pulse slowing as the pieces click together. Walter named me his estate executor, gave me control over his financial loose ends. Sierra never paid that loan back, and she's been running her business like it's her birthright, not a debt. I lean against the counter, the phone heavy in my hand. "If she forgets what you've done for her, this paper will remember," Walter had said. He knew her better than I did, saw this coming when I was too blind to notice. I don't decide anything yet, just close the email and set the phone down. But the idea's there, sharp and cold, like a knife I didn't know I was carrying. I head to the bedroom, not bothering to turn on the lights. The bed's too big without Sierra, but I don't care. I lie there, staring at the dark, and let my mind work. Not on the post, or the comments, or the laughter from her family. On what comes next. She thinks I'm useless? Fine. Let's see what happens when I stop being the guy who takes it. When I start giving back what I get. The next morning, I wake up with a headache and a purpose. The house is still empty. Sierra must have stayed at her parents' place, probably basking in the glow of her social media stunt. I don't check my phone for messages or scroll through the comments on her post. I've seen enough. Instead, I pour myself a cup of coffee from that beat-up machine in the kitchen, the bitter taste grounding me as I sit at the dining table. Sunlight streams through the window, catching dust motes in the air, and for a moment, I just breathe. But my mind's already moving, replaying Walter's words from years ago. If she forgets what you've done for her, this paper will remember. That loan agreement is out there, sitting in my email like a loaded gun I never thought I'd touch. I set my mug down and head to my study, a small room off the hallway that's more closet than office. It's where I keep files, old tax returns, anything important that doesn't fit in the rest of the house. The desk is cluttered, but I know exactly what I'm looking for. I fire up my laptop, the screens glow harsh against the dim room. My fingers move fast, pulling up the email from Walter with the scanned document. There it is, the loan agreement, dated 6 years ago, signed by Sierra and notarized by Walter's attorney, Mr. Gilroy. I read it slowly, making sure I'm not imagining things. $200,000 loan to start her boutique, with a clause that repayment can be demanded at the executor's discretion. That's me. Walter made me his estate executor 2 years before he died, said I was the only one he trusted to handle things fairly. Sierra never liked that, thought it should have been her or her mother, but Walter didn't budge. I print the document, the printer wheezing as it spits out the pages. Holding it in my hands feels different, heavier, like I'm crossing a line just by touching it. I sit back in my chair, staring at the signatures. Sierra's is loopy and confident, like she was signing an autograph. Walter's is sharp, deliberate. I can almost hear his voice, telling me to stand up for myself. I'm not a vengeful guy. At least, I never thought I was. But yesterday changed something. That post, her words, useless, cut deeper than I want to admit. It's not just the money I spent on the espresso machine or the way her family laughed. It's the years of feeling like I'm always one step behind her, trying to prove I'm worth keeping around. I helped her build that boutique, not just with Walter's money, but with my time. Late nights balancing her books, weekends fixing shelves, talking her down when she panicked about inventory. And now on the punchline, I set the papers down and rub my eyes, trying to think straight. Part of me wants to call her, ask why she did it, see if there's something left to save. But another part, the part that's awake now, knows she meant every word of that caption. She wanted to hurt me, and she wanted everyone to see it. I pick up my phone and search for Mr. Gilroy's number. He's semi-retired now, but Walter always said he was sharper than most lawyers half his age. My thumb hovers over the call button. This is real. If I do this, there's no going back. Sierra's boutique is her whole world. Her Instagram aesthetic, her brunches with influencers, her boss lady vibe. Demanding the loan repayment could tank it. I think about her face when she opened my gift, the way she tossed it aside like it was nothing. My jaw tightens, and I hit call. Gilroy answers on the third ring, his voice gravelly but warm. No, it's been a while. Everything all right. I don't waste time on small talk. I tell him about the loan, the agreement, my role as executor. I don't mention the post or the party, just stick to the facts. He listens, quiet except for the occasional hum as he processes. When I finish, there's a pause, and I can almost see him leaning back in his chair, glasses perched on his nose. The loan's enforceable, he says finally. Walter made sure of it. As executor, you've got the right to call it in, full amount, interest included if you want. I can draft a repayment demand today. You sure you want to proceed? Am I sure? I look at the papers on my desk, then at a photo on the wall. Me and Sierra at a friend's wedding, her arm around me, both of us smiling. That was 3 years ago, before her boutique took off, before she started caring more about likes than us. I think about the comments on her post, the laughing emojis, Bree and Calvin egging her on. Yeah, I say, my voice steady. I'm sure. Gilroy doesn't push back, just says he'll have the draft by tomorrow, and we'll need to schedule a formal delivery. I thank him and hang up, my heart pounding but not with fear. It's something else, resolve, maybe. I'm not trying to destroy her. I just want her to feel what I felt, to see what happens when you treat someone like they don't matter. I spend the rest of the day sorting through more files, not because I need to, but because it keeps my hands busy. I find receipts from the boutique's early days, notes I wrote to suppliers, even a thank you card Sierra gave me after her first big sale. Couldn't have done it without you, it says in her handwriting. I toss it in the trash. By evening, I'm calm, focused. I make a sandwich, eat it standing in the kitchen, and check my phone one last time. No messages from Sierra, just more notifications from her post. I don't open them. Instead, I think about Walter, how he always said family was about loyalty, not competition. He'd be disappointed in her, but I don't think he'd be surprised. He saw her clearly, and he trusted me to do the same. I head to bed early, the loan agreement still on my desk. Tomorrow, I'll figure out the next step. For now, I just need to sleep, to let this new version of myself settle in. A version that doesn't apologize for existing. I wake up to the sound of my alarm. The room's still dark except for a sliver of gray light creeping through the blinds. For a moment, I lie there, letting the quiet sink in, my mind already racing with what's ahead. Today's the day I make Sierra see me. Not the guy she mocked, not the one her family laughed at, but the one who's done playing along. I roll out of bed, splash cold water on my face, and head to the kitchen. The coffee maker hums as it brews, filling the air with a familiar bitterness that steadies me. I don't check my phone, don't want to see if she's added more fuel to her post or if her friends are still piling on. It doesn't matter anymore. I've got something better than words, a gift that'll hit harder than any caption. By noon, Mr. Gilroy emails me the repayment demand, a crisp, no-nonsense letter laying out the $200,000 Sierra owes Walter's estate, due within 30 days. I read it twice, my pulse steady but loud in my ears. It's real now, not just an idea born in anger. I print it, fold it carefully, and set it on the dining table like it's a sacred thing. I need to make this count, not just legally but personally. I drive to a boutique gift shop downtown, the kind Sierra would have loved before she decided I wasn't worth her time. Inside, it smells like lavender and money, shelves lined with trinkets nobody needs, but everybody wants. I find what I'm looking for quickly, a small, elegant box, black lacquer with a satin lining, about the size of a jewelry case. It's perfect, understated but heavy with intent. The clerk wraps it in tissue paper, and I pay cash, not wanting any trace of this on my card. Back home, I sit at the table with the box, the repayment demand, and a pen. I want to add something of my own, something that cuts as deep as her words did. I write on a plain card in careful, even letters, repayment in full due within 30 days. Let's see who's truly useless now. It's not poetry, but it doesn't need to be. I slip the card into the box alongside the letter, seal it, and tie a thin silver ribbon around it. It looks like a gift, the kind you open with a smile before your world shifts. I don't want to drag this out. I call a courier service, one that does same-day delivery, and give them the address of Sierra's parents' house. She's probably still there, holding court with her friends, sipping wine and basking in her own cleverness. Before I hand over the box, I grab my phone and type a text. I'm sorry the first gift didn't meet your expectations. I'm sending another. I think this one will mean more. I hit send and wait, staring at the screen. Her reply comes fast, sharp as ever. If it's not diamonds, don't bother. I almost laugh, not because it's funny, but because it's so her, always wanting more, never seeing what's right in front of her. I don't respond. The courier arrives, a bored guy in a gray uniform who doesn't ask questions. I hand him the box, give him instructions to deliver it directly to Sierra, and tip him extra to make sure it gets there tonight. He nods and drives off, the package vanishing into the dusk. I pour another coffee and settle on the couch, the house quiet except for the faint hum of the fridge. I try to watch TV, but my eyes keep drifting to my phone on the coffee table. I'm not nervous, not exactly. It's more like I'm waiting for a storm to break. 5 minutes after the courier's estimated delivery time, my phone lights up. A text from Sierra. What is this? Then another. Call me now. Then a missed call, followed by 3 more in a row. I don't pick up. The notifications keep coming, voicemails, DMs, text piling up so fast the screen can't keep up. I mute it but leave it face up, watching the numbers climb. 10 messages. 20. 50. By the time I finish my coffee, it's 137 texts, calls, voicemails, even a few emails. She's unraveling, and I haven't said a word. I lean back, closing my eyes, and let the chaos play out without me. For the first time in years, I'm not running to fix her mess. I think about what she's doing right now, probably pacing her parents' living room, that perfect gift box torn open, the letter in her hands. Maybe Bree's there, trying to spin it into a joke that doesn't land. Maybe her mom's hovering, saying something useless about family. Or maybe she's alone, staring at my note, realizing I'm not the guy she can push around anymore. I don't feel joy, not really, just a strange calm, like I've finally set down a weight I didn't know I was carrying. I get up, rinse my mug, and head to my study. The loan agreement's still on my desk, a copy of the one I sent her. I tuck it into a drawer, not because I'm hiding it, but because I don't need to look at it anymore. It's done. Whatever happens next is on her. Before bed, I check my phone one last time. The messages have slowed, but not stopped. Please, accusations, apologies, all jumbled together. I don't read them, don't listen to the voicemails. I turn off the light and climb into bed, the sheets cool against my skin. The house feels different tonight, not empty but open, like it's waiting for something new. I close my eyes, and for the first time in a long time, I don't dream of Sierra's laughter or her family smirks. I dream of nothing at all, and it's the best sleep I've had in years. The morning light creeps into the bedroom, soft and gray, but I'm already awake, staring at the ceiling. My phone's been buzzing since last night, a relentless hum that I've ignored. Sierra's messages, 137 of them by the time I went to bed, haven't stopped. I don't need to read them to know what they say. She's panicking, probably cycling through anger, tears, and excuses, trying to claw her way out of the hole she dug. I swing my legs out of bed, the floor cold under my feet, and head to the kitchen. The coffee maker gurgles as it brews, filling the air with a familiar bitterness that feels like an old friend. I don't rush. Today's not about reacting. It's about holding steady, letting her feel the weight of what she started. I pour a mug and sit at the dining table, the repayment demands twin still tucked away in my study. I don't need to look at it to know it's real, that it's out there now, sitting in her hands like a ticking clock. My phone lights up again, a voicemail this time. I sip my coffee, watching the screen flash her name. Curiosity gets the better of me, and I play the first one, keeping the volume low. Her voice is sharp, almost shrill. Noah, what the hell is this? You can't do this to me. Call me back right now. The next one's softer, her words slurring a little. I didn't mean it, okay? I was drunk. It was just a stupid post. Please, let's talk. By the 17th voicemail, she's crying, her voice barely audible over the static. You're ruining everything. Why are you doing this? I stop listening, not because it's hard to hear, but because it doesn't change anything. She's not sorry for what she did. She's sorry it's biting her back. I mute the phone and set it face down, the silence in the house louder than her pleas. I'm halfway through my coffee when someone else calls. It's Bree, Sierra's sister, her name flashing like a warning. I let it go to voicemail, but she calls again, then again. Against my better judgment, I pick up on the fourth ring. Noah, are you serious with this? She snaps before I can say a word. You're going after her business? Over a stupid gift? That's low, even for you. I lean back in my chair, keeping my voice calm. It's not about the gift, Bree. It's about a loan she never repaid. You know, the one that started her whole empire? She sputters, trying to interrupt, but I keep going. Maybe ask her why she thought calling me useless in front of the world was a good idea. There's a pause, and I can almost hear her recalculating. Then Calvin's voice cuts in. He must have grabbed the phone. Listen, man, you don't mess with family like this. Drop it, or you'll regret it. I laugh, short and sharp, surprising myself. Family? You laughed in my face yesterday. You don't get to play that card now. I hang up and block their numbers, my hands steady but my heart racing. They're circling the wagons, but it's too late. The letter's sent, the couriers delivered it, and Sierra's got 30 days to figure it out. I head to my office later, needing the routine to keep my head clear. It's a small accounting firm, nothing flashy, but I'm good at what I do. Numbers don't lie. Unlike people. My desk is cluttered with spreadsheets, but I can't focus. My assistant, Mark, pops his head in, asking if I'm okay. I nod, forcing a smile, but he lingers, sensing something's off. Family stuff, I say, and he leaves it at that. Around noon, my phone buzzes again, not Sierra, but a security alert from the office building. I pull up the live feed on my laptop and see her Sierra, standing in the lobby, her hair a mess, gesturing wildly at the guard. She's shouting something I can't hear, her face flushed with desperation. My stomach twists, not with pity, but with a strange detachment, like I'm watching a stranger. The guard shakes his head, pointing to the exit. She tries to push past him, but he's firm, guiding her out. I close the feed and lean back, exhaling slowly. She's unraveling, and I didn't even have to say a word. By evening, the calls have slowed, But the messages keep trickling in: friends of hers, mutual acquaintances, even her mom with a cautious "can we talk?" text. I don't respond. I make a sandwich for dinner, eat it standing in the kitchen, and think about what's next. Sierra's boutique is her life, but it's not bulletproof. Walter's loan kept it afloat in the early days, and I know her books she's leveraged to the hilt, counting on sales to stay ahead of debt. That repayment demand isn't just a bill, it's a wrecking ball. I don't feel triumph, not exactly, but there's a quiet satisfaction in knowing she can't ignore me now. I'm not the guy she brushed off at her party, not the one she mocked online. I'm the one who held her world together, and now I'm the one pulling the pin. Before bed, I check my phone one last time. A new voicemail from Sierra, timestamped an hour ago. I hesitate, then play it. Her voice is raw. No trace of the confidence she wore yesterday. Noah, please. I'll take the post down. I'll apologize. Anything. Just don't do this. You're breaking me. I delete it without replying. Breaking her? She broke something first, us, me, the part of me that thought love meant taking the hits. I turn off the light and climb into bed, the house settling around me. Tomorrow, I'll talk to Gilroy. Make sure the next steps are clean. For now, I close my eyes, letting the silence carry me to sleep, undisturbed by her chaos for the first time in years. I wake up to a text from Mr. Gilroy, short and to the point. Meeting scheduled for 2 p.m. Sierra's lawyer confirmed attendance. My office. Be there. My stomach tightens, not with nerves, but with the weight of what's coming. Today, Sierra and I will sit across a table, not as husband and wife, but as debtor and executor. I roll out of bed, the morning air cool against my skin, and head to the kitchen. The coffee maker's hum is the only sound as I brew a pot, the routine anchoring me. I don't check Sierra's messages. There's nothing she can say now that changes the math. The repayment demand is out there, a legal brick wall she can't charm her way past. I pour a mug and sit at the dining table, staring out the window at the neighbor's dog chasing its tail in their yard. It's almost funny, the way life goes on outside while mine feels like it's tilting towards something final. I dress carefully, dark slacks, a crisp white shirt, no tie. I want to look calm, not aggressive, like I'm here to settle a debt, not start a war. The drive to Gilroy's office is quiet, just the hum of the engine and the occasional talk radio murmur I don't really hear. My mind's on Sierra, not her tears or her voicemails, but the way she looked at that espresso machine, like it, and I were beneath her. I park outside Gilroy's building, a low brick structure that's more practical than flashy, and take a deep breath before heading in. The receptionist nods me through, and I find Gilroy in his office, surrounded by shelves of law books and a desk that looks older than me. He's in his 60s, wiry and sharp-eyed, with a handshake that's firmer than you'd expect. Noah, he says, waving me to a chair. You ready for this? I nod, sitting straight, as I'll ever be. He doesn't push, just hands me a copy of the repayment demand, the same one Sierra got. Her lawyer's a decent guy, he says, but he's out of his depth. Walter's contract is ironclad. At 2 p.m. sharp, the door opens and Sierra walks in, followed by a middle-aged man in a gray suit, her lawyer, I assume. She looks different, not the polished Instagram version I'm used to. Her hair's pulled back in a messy bun, her eyes red-rimmed, no makeup to hide the strain. She doesn't meet my gaze, just sits across the table, clutching a water bottle like it's a lifeline. Her lawyer introduces himself as Mr. Patel, his voice smooth but cautious. I nod, keeping my face neutral. Gilroy takes charge, laying out the situation, Walter's loan, the terms, my role as executor, the demand for repayment. Patel tries to argue, saying the loan was a gift that Walter never intended to collect. Gilroy shuts it down with a single page from Walter's will, naming me executor with full authority. The contract's clear, Gilroy says, tapping the table. $200,000, due now. No ambiguity. Patel fumbles, flipping through his notes, but Sierra stays silent, staring at the table like it holds answers. I watch her, waiting for the outburst, the tears, something. But she's still, almost fragile, like a glass that's already cracked and knows one tap will shatter it. Patel shifts gears, asking for an extension, citing her boutique's cash flow issues. Gilroy glances at me. I'm the one who decides. I lean forward, my voice low but steady. No extensions. She had 6 years to plan for this. Walter trusted her to honor the deal. She didn't. Sierra's head snaps up, her eyes meeting mine for the first time. There's no anger there, just a raw, desperate plea. Noah, she whispers, barely audible. Please. My chest tightens, not because I want to give in, but because I remember when her voice used to mean everything. I hold her gaze, letting her see I'm not backing down. You made your choices, I say. This is mine. Gilroy slides a new document across the table, a repayment agreement, spelling out the terms she'll sign today or face legal action. Patel reads it, muttering about bankruptcy risks, but Sierra cuts him off. I'll sign, she says, her voice flat. She pulls a cashier's check from her bag, made out to Walter's estate for the full amount. My breath catches. I didn't expect her to have it ready, not this fast. She slides it to Gilroy, who inspects it and nods. This settles the debt, he says, handing her a pen. She signs the agreement, her hand shaking, then pushes her chair back. You ruined me, she says, looking at me now, her voice sharp but brittle. I don't flinch. No, I say. You posted that photo. You called me useless. I just believed you. Her lips part, like she wants to argue, but nothing comes out. She grabs her bag and leaves, Patel scrambling to follow. The door clicks shut, and the room feels bigger, quieter. Gilroy leans back, exhaling. That went smoother than I expected, he says, a faint smile tugging at his mouth. I don't smile back, just nod. Thanks for handling it. He waves it off, saying he'll file the paperwork and send me confirmation. I stand, my legs heavier than they should be, and head to my car. The drive home is a blur of streets, stoplights, the world moving past like it doesn't know what just happened. I keep seeing Sierra's face, not the angry one from her voicemails, but the broken one in that office. I don't feel victorious, not the way I thought I would. It's more like I've closed a book I didn't want to finish. At home, I skip dinner, too wired to eat. I sit on the couch, the repayment agreement's weight still lingering, even though it's just paper now. My phone's quiet. No calls, no texts, not even from her family. They're probably regrouping, figuring out how to spin this to save face. I think about Walter, how he'd nod if he were here, maybe clap me on the shoulder. He didn't give me that loan to wield like a weapon. He gave it to teach her something, and me too. I'm not sure I've learned it all yet, but I know one thing. I'm not useless. Not to him, not to myself. I head to bed early, the house settling around me like it's finally mine again. Sleep comes slow, but when it does, it's deep, unbroken by dreams of her or what we used to be. The days after the meeting with Sierra feel different, like the air in the house has cleared after a storm. I wake up early, the morning light soft through the curtains, and for once, I don't reach for my phone to check for her messages. There's nothing left to say. She signed the agreement, handed over the check, and walked out of Gilroy's office. Whatever she's doing now, it's not my problem. I head to the kitchen, brew a pot of coffee, and sit at the dining table, letting the warmth of the mug seep into my hands. The silence isn't heavy anymore. It's just quiet, giving me room to think. I don't linger on the past, not her post, not the party, not even the look in her eyes when she realized I wasn't backing down. Instead, I'm thinking about what's next, about who I am when I'm not trying to fix her messes or prove I'm enough. Work keeps me grounded. My office is a steady rhythm of numbers and deadlines, and I dive into it, grateful for the clarity. Mark, my assistant, notices I'm sharper, more focused. Good weekend? He asks one morning, half joking. I shrug, offering a small smile. Something like that. He doesn't pry, and I'm glad. I don't want to explain how it feels to step out of someone's shadow, to stop carrying their weight. By midweek, I hear through a coworker that Sierra's boutique is up for sale. The news lands softly, not a shock, not a victory, just a fact. I knew the repayment would hit her hard. $200,000 isn't pocket change, and her business was always more flash than substance. I don't go looking for details, but I catch snippets. Her Instagram's gone silent. No more curated posts of lattes and designer bags. Her followers must be wondering where their queen went. I don't check to confirm. I don't need to see her unraveling to know it's happening. Her family's another story. I get a text from her mom, Ellen, a cautious message that reads like she wrote it 10 times before sending. Noah, I'm sorry things got so heated. Can we talk? I stare at it over lunch, a sandwich half-eaten on my desk. I remember her at the party, shaking her head when Sierra mocked my gift, not laughing but not stopping it either. She's always been polite to me, but it's the kind of politeness that keeps you at arm's length. I don't reply. There's nothing to say, not yet, maybe not ever. Bree and Calvin stay silent, which surprises me until I hear from a mutual friend that their own business, a trendy wine bar they opened with Sierra's help, is struggling. Layoffs, fewer customers, whispers of debt. I don't know if it's true, and I don't care enough to dig. Their world's cracking, And I'm not the one holding the hammer anymore. I did what I needed to, nothing more. I start noticing changes in myself, small but real. I laugh easier at work, not forcing it to fit in. I cook dinner most nights, not fancy, just eggs or pasta, but it feels good to make something for myself. One evening, I clean out the hall closet, tossing old jackets and a scarf Sierra left behind. It's not about erasing her, it's about making space. I even sign up for a weekend hiking group, something I used to love before life got too tangled. The idea of walking through woods, no signal, no drama, pulls me forward. I'm not running from anything, just heading towards something else, something I get to choose. My phone stays quiet now, no flood of voicemails or texts. It's strange how fast the world moves on when you stop chasing it. I think about Walter sometimes, how he'd sit in his old armchair, sipping whiskey and talking about loyalty. He didn't trust many people, but he trusted me, not just with his money but with his family's future. I wonder what he'd say about all this. Probably something gruff, like, "You did what you had to." I don't feel guilt, not exactly, but there's a heaviness in knowing I pulled the pin on Sierra's grenade. She built that life, all shine and no foundation, but I'm the one who made it shake. I don't dwell on it. Instead, I focus on the present, work, hikes, the way coffee tastes better when you're not drinking it to stay awake for someone else's crisis. One night, I'm flipping through channels, not really watching, when my phone buzzes. It's a friend, Jake, asking if I've heard about Sierra's family. I call him back, curious despite myself. He says Calvin and Bree are fighting, their bar's bleeding money, and Sierra's not bailing them out this time. She's different now, he says, like it's a secret. Not posting, not showing up at brunches. People are talking. I nod, even though he can't see me, and change the subject to football. I don't want to be the guy who gloats, who needs her downfall to feel whole. When I hang up, I sit there, the TV muted, thinking about how fast her empire's crumbling. It's not my fault, not entirely, but I'm not innocent either. I sent that letter, wrote that note, knowing it'd hit her where it hurt. And it did. I head to bed early, the house calm around me. Before I turn off the light, I glance at a photo on my dresser. Me and Walter at his cabin, fishing poles in hand. I'm keeping that one, not for Sierra but for him, for the guy who saw something in me when I couldn't see it myself. I don't know what's next. Maybe I'll sell the house, move somewhere new, or just keep building this life, piece by piece. For now, I'm okay with not knowing. I close my eyes, the weight of the past lighter than it's been in years, and let sleep take me. No dreams, just rest. The morning air is crisp when I step outside, my breath visible as I lock the front door. It's Saturday, and I'm headed to a local cafe for breakfast, something I haven't done in ages, not since Sierra and I stopped sharing lazy weekend mornings. I drive with the windows cracked, letting the chill wake me up. The cafe's a small place, all exposed brick and mismatched chairs, the kind of spot that feels like it's been here forever. I settle at a corner table, order a black coffee and a bagel, and pull out a book I've been meaning to read. The hum of conversation around me is soothing, a reminder that the world's still turning, even if mine's been on pause. My phone's in my pocket, but I don't check it. No one's blowing it up anymore, not Sierra, not her family, not even mutual friends fishing for gossip. It's been weeks since the repayment meeting, and the silence feels like a gift I didn't know I needed. Halfway through my coffee, I overhear a couple at the next table talking about a local boutique closing down. I don't catch the name, but my gut tells me it's Sierra's. I don't strain to listen. Whatever's happening with her isn't my story anymore. Still, later that day, I get a call from Jake, the friend who's always got his ear to the ground. I'm at the grocery store, picking out apples, when he dives right in. "You hear about Sierra?" he asks, not waiting for an answer. "She's working at that cafe on Elm Street now. Like, behind the counter, making lattes. Can you believe it?" I pause, an apple in my hand, the cool skin grounding me. I don't know what I expected. Maybe that she'd bounce back, find another way to shine, but not this. "Yeah," I say, keeping my voice even. Jake laughs, like it's a punchline. "Man, from boss lady to barista? That's gotta sting." I don't laugh back, just tell him I've got to go. I finish shopping, the conversation lingering like a faint aftertaste. I don't plan to see her, don't go looking for proof. But a few days later, I'm downtown for a client meeting, and I pass that cafe on Elm. It's not on purpose, my meeting's nearby, and I need a coffee to clear my head. I almost keep walking, but something pulls me inside, maybe curiosity, maybe just habit. The bell above the door jingles, and I step into a warm, crowded space, all steam and chatter. Then I see her Sierra, behind the counter, tying an apron around her waist. Her hair's in a loose ponytail, no trace of the sleek curls she used to spend hours on. She's moving fast, steaming milk, scribbling orders, her face focused but tired. I freeze, my instinct to turn and leave, but the line's already forming behind me, and I'm next. She looks up, and our eyes meet. Her hands stop, the milk pitcher wobbling slightly. For a second, neither of us moves, like we're both waiting for the other to break the spell. I step forward, keeping my voice steady. "Just a black coffee, please." She blinks, then nods, turning to pour it without a word. I watch her work, not out of pity, but because it's surreal. Sierra, who once posed with $200 lattes for likes, now grinding through a shift like anyone else. She hands me the cup, her fingers brushing the counter. Not me. $3, she says, her voice low. I slide her a 5, tell her to keep the change. She doesn't smile, doesn't snap, just rings it up and moves to the next customer. I linger by the pickup station, sipping the coffee. It's good, better than I expected. She glances my way once, her eyes sharp but guarded, like she's bracing for something. "Happy now," she whispers when no one's close, the words barely carrying over the hiss of the espresso machine. I meet her gaze, not flinching. "Not happy," I say. "Just free." Her lips tighten, but she doesn't respond, turning back to a customer's order. I leave the cafe, the bell jingling behind me, and walk to my meeting without looking back. The coffee's still warm in my hand, but it's the weight of that moment that stays with me, her standing there, me walking away. It's not revenge, not anymore. It's just life, moving forward, leaving behind what doesn't fit. Later, Jake texts me more gossip. Calvin and Bree are selling their house. Their youngest got pulled from private school. The wine bar's on its last legs. I don't reply. Their world's shrinking, and I'm not part of it, not even as a villain. I spend the evening cooking, a simple stir-fry, nothing fancy, and eat at the table, my book open beside me. The house feels like mine now, not a battlefield or a museum of what was. I think about Sierra at the counter, not with satisfaction, but with a strange clarity. She's not broken, not the way she probably thinks. She's just starting over, like I am. The difference is, I'm not carrying her anymore. I'm not carrying anyone. Before bed, I clean the kitchen, the routine calming me. I glance at my phone. No messages, no alerts, just a quiet screen. I'm okay with that. I turn off the light and climb into bed, the sheets cool and familiar. Sleep comes easy, no dreams of her or the past, just the steady rhythm of my own breathing, carrying me into tomorrow. The alarm pulls me out of a deep sleep, and for a moment, I lie still, letting the quiet settle around me. It's early, the kind of early where the world feels like it's holding its breath. I'm leaving today for a solo trip to the mountains, a week in a rented lodge I booked on a whim. No work, no phone, just me and the kind of silence you can't find in the city. I roll out of bed, the floor cool under my feet, and start packing, hiking boots, a few books, enough clothes to keep me warm. The kitchen's next, where I brew a quick coffee and toss some snacks into a bag. I don't check my phone, don't need to know if Sierra's posted anything or if her family's still circling their wagons. That part of my life feels like a book I've closed, not forgotten, but no longer open on my lap. I grab my keys, load the car, and hit the road just as the sun starts creeping over the horizon, painting the sky in streaks of pink and gold. The drive is long, for hours of winding roads and open fields giving way to dense forests and sharp peaks. I keep the radio off, letting my thoughts wander. I think about the cafe last week, Sierra behind the counter, her eyes meeting mine. It wasn't triumph I felt walking away, just a strange peace, like I'd finally let go of something I'd been gripping too tight. I don't hate her, not even after everything. I just don't need her to define me anymore. The mountains loom closer, their shadows stretching across the road, and I feel lighter with every mile. By the time I pull up to the lodge, a small, weathered cabin tucked against a ridge, I'm ready to be here, to be nowhere else. I unload my bags, step inside, and breathe in the smell of pine and old wood. It's simple, just a bed, a fireplace, and a kitchenette, but it's enough. More than enough. I spend the first day settling in. I unpack, stack my books on the table, and take a short walk to a nearby stream. The water's clear, rushing over smooth stones, and I sit there for a while, letting the sound drown out any stray thoughts. Back at the lodge, I make coffee, not from some fancy machine, but from a cheap drip brewer I found in the cabinet. It's strong, a little bitter, and I sip it on the porch, watching the trees sway in the breeze. My phone's in my bag, powered off since I left home. I don't miss it. There's no one I need to hear from, no crisis I need to fix. That night, I build a fire, the crackle filling the room as I read by its light. The book's a thriller, nothing heavy, just enough to keep my mind engaged without pulling me back to the past. The next morning, I hike a trail recommended by the lodge's guestbook. It's steep, my legs burning by the halfway mark, but the view at the top, a wide valley framed by jagged peaks, makes it worth it. I sit on a flat rock, catching my breath, and eat an apple from my pack. The air's sharp, clean, and I close my eyes, letting it fill me up. I think about Walter, how he'd love a place like this, all raw and untouched. He'd probably tell me to stop overthinking, to just be here. I smile at the thought, tossing the apple core into the brush for some critter to find. The hike back is easier, gravity doing half the work, and I'm sore but satisfied by the time I reach the lodge. I cook dinner, pasta with a Jared sauce I brought, and eat it slowly, savoring the quiet. Midweek, I'm sitting by the fire when my phone buzzes. I powered it on to check the weather, and a message from Sierra slipped through before I could turn it off again. It's short. You'll regret this one day. I stare at it, the words glowing in the dark. Regret what? Standing up for myself? Letting her face her own choices? I delete it without reading it twice, then shut the phone off for good. She's still trying to pull me back, to make me feel like the bad guy. But I'm not playing that game anymore. I toss another log on the fire and pick up my book, letting her words burn away with the flames. She can stew, can cling to her anger, but it's not my burden. Not now, not ever again. The rest of the week passes in a rhythm I didn't know I needed. Hikes, books, coffee on the porch, naps in the afternoon sun. I don't think about Sierra much, or her family, or the life I'm leaving behind. I think about me, what I want, what makes me feel alive. I jot notes in a notebook I brought, not plans but ideas, maybe take up woodworking, maybe move somewhere smaller, maybe just keep hiking until I find a trail that feels like home. By the last day, I'm reluctant to leave. I sit on the porch one final time, the mountains dark against a fading sky, and realize I'm smiling, not at anything specific, just at the feeling of being here, whole in a way I haven't been in years. I pack up slowly, clean the lodge, and lock the door behind me. The drive home is calm, the road's emptier now, and I don't rush. When I pull into my driveway, the house looks the same but feels different, like it's waiting for me to make it mine again. I unload my bags, brew a fresh pot of coffee, and sit at the kitchen table. My phone's still off, and I leave it that way. I don't need to know what's happening out there, Sierra's cafe shifts, her family's drama, the gossip Jake's probably itching to share. I'm here, in this moment, and it's enough. I sip my coffee, the taste sharp and familiar, and let the quiet carry me forward, no weight, no tension, just me and the life I'm starting to build. The morning sun spills through my kitchen window, catching the steam rising from my coffee mug. I'm back home, a week after my mountain trip, and the house feels different, lighter, like it's finally mine to shape. I sip my coffee, brewed from the old drip machine I've always used, and flip through a notebook I started in the lodge. It's full of half-formed ideas, hiking trails I want to try, a woodworking class I might take, even a vague thought about moving somewhere quieter. I don't need to decide today, and that's the beauty of it. For the first time in years, I'm not racing to meet someone else's expectations. I close the notebook and head to the living room, where boxes of Sierra's things sit against the wall, clothes, books, a lamp she loved. I've been putting off dealing with them, but today feels right. I tape up the boxes, label them for donation, and load them into my car. It's not about erasing her. It's about making room for me. I drop the boxes at a local charity shop, the clerk thanking me with a smile that feels genuine. Driving back, I take the long way, passing streets I used to avoid because they reminded me of her. Now, they're just streets, pavement, trees, life moving on. At home, I tackle the rest of the house, rearranging furniture, hanging a new print I bought, a simple landscape, all greens and blues, like the mountains I left behind. The place looks sparse but intentional, like a canvas I'm just starting to paint. Work calls me back the next day, and I dive in with a focus I haven't had in months. My colleagues notice, Mark cracks a joke about my new vibe, and I laugh, not bothering to explain. Numbers make sense, always have, and I lose myself in spreadsheets, finding a rhythm that feels like mine. A few days later, I meet Jake for a beer at a quiet bar downtown. He's itching to talk about Sierra, as usual, but I steer him toward other things, work, his new dog, a camping trip he's planning. He gets the hint, Mostly, though he can't resist one dig. Heard her boutique's officially gone. Sold for peanuts. I nod, sipping my beer, and change the subject to football. I don't need the details, her shop, her life, her family's mess. It's not my story anymore. Jake doesn't push, and we spend the rest of the night laughing about nothing important. Walking home, the air cool against my face, I feel a lightness I didn't know I could carry. Friends are noticing it too, not just Jake but coworkers, even the barista at my usual coffee spot, who says I seem less stressed. I don't tell them it's because I stopped trying to be someone else's anchor. I start hiking again, joining that weekend group I'd signed up for. The trails are local, nothing like the mountains, but the crunch of dirt under my boots and the burn in my legs feel good. One morning, I'm catching my breath at a lookout point when a woman from the group offers me water. Her name's Corinne, and she's easy to talk to, no pretense, just a quick smile and a love for the outdoors. We chat about the trail, then coffee, and I mention I'm picky about my brew. She laughs, saying she's the same, and we swap stories about the best cups we've had. It's not a date, not even close, but it's the first time in a while I've talked to someone new without second-guessing myself. We hike back with the group, and she waves as we part ways, nothing heavy, just a moment that feels like it could grow into something if I let it. Back home, I keep building this new life, piece by piece. I sign up for that woodworking class, spending Tuesday evenings learning to shape cedar into something useful. My first project's a mess, a wobbly shelf, but I keep it, a reminder I'm learning. I cook more, nothing fancy, just meals that taste better because I'm not eating to fill a void. One night, I'm grilling chicken when my phone buzzes. A reflex makes me check it, but it's just a weather alert. I realize I haven't heard from Sierra since that mountain text, the one I deleted without a second thought. I don't wonder what she's doing. Don't check her social media to see if she's posted again. I know she hasn't. Jake would have mentioned it. Her world, that shiny empire of likes and brunches, is gone, and I'm not the one who took it. She handed me the match, and I just lit it. I think about Corinne sometimes, her laugh on the trail, the way she didn't need to fill every silence. I don't call her, not yet, but I keep her number, tucked into my wallet like a possibility. I'm not rushing. Don't need to. For now, it's enough to wake up without tension in my chest, to drink coffee that tastes like mine, to walk through a house that's starting to feel like home. I don't hate Sierra, don't wish her pain. I just don't need her to see me anymore. Walter saw me, believed in me, and that's enough to carry forward. One evening, I'm on the couch, a book open, when I catch myself smiling, not at anything specific, just at the quiet joy of being here, whole. I finish the chicken, clean the kitchen, and head to bed, the house settling around me like an old friend. The final line of this chapter, of us, plays in my head as I turn off the light. She posted about a useless man, and I showed her what it looks like when that man walks away, taking everything he built with him. I close my eyes, no dreams waiting to pull me back, just sleep, deep and steady, carrying me into a life I'm finally choosing.